Yeah. Are you a speed seduction student?
I've done the home course.
Yeah. Okay. Where are you from? D.C. What's your name? Jim. Okay. You live near Yates?
Fairly close.
Fairly close? Okay. What can we do for you? Wrong. No. Okay. What can we do for you?
I want to psychically draw people into my life.
Psychically draw people into your life.
That will increase my wealth.
That will increase your wealth.
Through creating things.
Through creating things.
Buildings or businesses.
Buildings or businesses.
Of great value.
Of great value. I'm confused. What do you want to do?
I want to psychically draw people into my life.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It will increase my wealth by forming ventures and developing. And
why can't you do that on yourself?
I can do that now, but I think if I get on another wavelength to increase
Okay.
the draw.
Okay. Hold on. I'm just put that towards your face. Okay. So what you're saying is, it seems to me that your statement of intent is depending on having other people come in and help you do things.
Correct.
Okay. Is that really necessary? And if you could, what would the end result of that be? What would you get from that?
Well, I'd get the enjoyment of creating things. And
can't you do that now without other people?
Yes, I can create things, but I can't create the.
So there's things, and then there's things.
There's orders of magnitude.
Okay, so
and I want to work on
this
a
is
higher
where you're
order
at.
Of magnitude.
So this is where you're at. But if you want to get to here, you need other people to help?
Absolutely.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Really? So when you think about buying some people's self-improvement products, they're okay. And then there's like, right?
There's different orders of magnitude.
Right? Okay. Just using his own anchors. I'm learning from Tom. Tom's teaching me to be sneakier. Really? Okay. So how many people do you need? 100? 50,000?
Oh, no, it's a relatively small number.
What kind of people?
If they bring their own capital.
Uh-huh. What's their attitude like? I know people with money who are human scum. They think their money allows them to be human scum. So is that what you want?
No, I want people who are, decent, enlightened people.
Decent, enlightened people.
Yeah,
okay.
who are investors looking for opportunities, and I happen to find the opportunities.
How about putting an ad? Decent, enlightened people with money who are not human scum.
Yeah, that works.
I'm serious. Listen. I'm not kidding. What's the difference between a magical incantation that brings you your lover and a headline in an ad that brings you your lover? Have you ever thought that a good marketing headline is no different in function from a magical incantation? A magical incantation, you stand before the mirror, light the bell, bring me my ideal lover, and then you write a headline. Amazing, sexy, generous, creative businessman seeks beautiful woman, non-insane, who is not scum. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same mechanism of uttering words in a certain way, in a certain format, to get a result in the world. So, what did I just say to you? What are the characteristics you want? Later on, this is important. Later on, we're going to show you how to create a sigil. I want you to write down the characteristics of the people you want to do business with. Write it down right now.
Okay.
What are they? What are they?
Enlightened.
Enlightened. And we're going to refer back to this tomorrow when we do sigils. Enlightened, what else?
Creative.
For those of you who want to use this to draw, what kind of beautiful women? Write down the characteristics of these beautiful women. You write them down. Enlightened, creative, non-human scum. You can write that down.
No. Enlightened, creative.
Wealthy. They have their own money.
Yes.
Maybe you can talk to me. What kind of ventures do you have in mind? I'm kind of human scum, though.
I don't think so.
Don't you think I'm kind of human scum, aren't I?
No, you just get your ring for 6 months in the back.
And then it pops up the day I have to do a seminar. It reminds me of Maui. I got to get out there. What else?
Visionary.
Visionary. Well, does that mean they think they're Napoleon? What does visionary mean?
Able to. No, visionary means able to visualize where they're going, what they're trying to create.
I like that. Are they flexible, or do they insist on their vision?
Oh.
Well, you better think about that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's where you might get into trouble with me. I'm fairly flexible, actually, if approached right. Getting more so. I think flexibility is a very powerful tool. So is agility. The two are not the same. Agility means you're proactive. Flexibility is more a responsive thing. Actually, I read when they look for special forces, they're looking for people who are agile as much as flexible. Because agile is proactive. Flexible is reactive. They're both important. Is this my water or yours? Oh, I'm not going to drink out of your lips. No, sit. No, it's not your job to serve. You notice this? What did she just... Please sit. Please sit. Please sit. You know, she thinks it's her role to be of service like that. Interesting.
No, I just wish you to be of service.
Thank you. Thank you. But I have someone who does that. Thank you, Yates.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with helping people or serving others.
No, I don't either. Yes, you. What do you want to get out of my seminar?
Have some fun.
Well, are you having fun yet?
Yeah.
Are you a speech seduction student?
By course, not by seminar.
Okay.
And learn some new things.
Okay.
I've accepted that communication in all forms is manipulation.
I like him.
And this is the next step.
I like this guy. What's your name?
Lance.
Lance. That's right. Communication is manipulation. I'm going to steal that from you. Very good. Where are you from?
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque. Cool. Anything else?
Just came here to step it up a notch.
Okay, cool. And have you gone yet?
Have I gone where?
Have you gone where? That's right. What would you like? Here, you hold this.
Well, basically just to have my way with any woman that I want without causing...
Have your what? Have your way.
Way.
Have your what?
Way.
Have your way.
With any woman that I want.
With any woman that you want.
Without causing me, her, or anyone else any significant problems.
Without causing any significant problems. Okay. Tall order. Even I can't do that, but okay. Good. I like it. Unsticking yourself. Becoming unstuck. I want to talk about unspelling, uncursing, ungluing, and undoing, and getting yourself off of autopilot. The next hour or so, we're going to talk about that, because I think it's very important. If you're going to learn to influence others magically and psychically and all that other good stuff, you should start with yourself. Because what I want you guys to do is to think about some area in your life where you really often feel uncomfortable, where you feel stuck, where you feel like you're up against the limits of what you know how to do. Because that's where the opportunity to do magic really, really, really occurs. I had a very interesting experience that really has changed the way I think and move through the world. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that experience. So there's really no need to take notes here. You can just relax and pay attention to this. This is a true story. Last June, so it's almost been a year, I went to a seminar on, of all things, stage hypnosis. I don't know if you know what a stage hypnotist does, but a stage hypnotist does those shows where you get on stage. He hypnotizes you, tells you you're the world's greatest stripper or opera singer, or that when he counts to 3, whenever he says the word dynamo, you're going to fart, or whatever. You know, it's a ridiculous, funny show. Are you following me all so far? Y'all got me? Yes? Because I know we have people who are not. Are you following? Capisce? Capisce. All right. Sono americano, non parlo italiano. Unsticking yourself, becoming unstuck. I want to talk about unspelling, uncursing, ungluing, and undoing, and getting yourself off of autopilot. The next hour or so, we're going to talk about that because I think it's very important. If you're going to learn to influence others magically and psychically and all that other good stuff, you should start with yourself. Because what I want you guys to do is to think about some area in your life where you really often feel uncomfortable, where you feel stuck, where you feel like you're up against the limits of what you know how to do. Because that's where the opportunity to do magic really, really, really occurs. I had a very interesting experience that really has changed the way I think and move through the world. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that experience. So there's really no need to take notes here. You can just relax and pay attention to this. This is a true story. Last June, so it's almost been a year, I went to a seminar on, of all things, stage hypnosis. I don't know if you know what a stage hypnotist does, but a stage hypnotist does those shows where you get on stage. He hypnotizes you, tells you you're the world's greatest stripper or opera singer, or that when he counts to 3, whenever he says the word dynamo, you're going to fart, or whatever. You know, it's a ridiculous, funny show. Are you following me all so far? Y'all got me? Yes? Because I know we have people who are not. Are you following? Capisce? Capisce. All right. Sono americano, no parlo italiano. So, I went to this seminar being taught by Mark Cunningham, but also being taught by a very interesting gentleman whose name is Mike Dubé. Mike Dubé is a stage hypnotist. He spends about 300 days out of the year going on the road doing these shows. Now, in the seminar, he popped in a video of a stage show he did. Now, let me set the scene. This was a show he did for college kids. You know, it's a bunch of drunk college kids. I don't know if it was a fraternity, a sorority. He had 6 guys sitting on stage in front, and sitting behind them were 6 girls. And they were all in trance. They were like, out. And here's what he said. He said, "Gentlemen who are listening to the sound of my voice, in a moment I'm going to awaken you. And when I awaken you, I'm going to be holding a little rag doll in my hand." And that's all it is a little rag doll. And by the way, that's all it was. It was like a Raggedy Ann doll. Do you know who Raggedy Ann? It's a doll. Just a little doll. Imagine a Barbie, okay? But when I say the word pomegranate, this is no longer just a doll. This is the love of your life. You're going to look at this and feel madly in love. You're going to look at this and see your soulmate. You're glued to your chair, so you cannot get out of your chair, but you'll convince her to marry you. You'll make love to her. Tell her you want to spend the rest of your life with her. 1, 2, 3. And they all woke up. So, how you doing, gentlemen? Oh, just fine. What do you think of this? Just a stupid doll. He said, that's right, but pomegranate. And all of a sudden, these grown men were crying. He'd hand them the doll. They're humping it. Oh, baby, they're tongue kissing. Oh, baby. Oh, marry me, baby, baby. I love you, baby. Spend my life with me. Have my babies. And then he'd take the doll away, and they'd cry, no, come back. And he'd go down the row, handing these guys the doll. And they're humping it. They're tonguing it. They're crying. Baby, you're my soulmate. I'm so in love with you. And he'd go, why do you love her? Oh, because she's this and this and this. And it was hysterically funny. Then he went, sleep. Well, I laughed just like everyone else, but then it started to bug me. I'll tell you why it bugged me. I thought, what makes that so funny? Why is that video so funny? Well, first of all, it's funny because they're having the response to a completely inappropriate cue. They're having that huge response to basically nothing, just a little doll. If instead of a doll, he had said, when I count to 3, you're going to see one of the most beautiful women in the world. You're going to try to convince her to come over and sit in your lap. And when he had them open their eyes, there really was a beautiful woman there. Let's say he got a bikini model in a thong bikini. It would be interesting to watch, but would it have been so funny? No, what made it funny is it was so inappropriate, a completely inappropriate cue. But here's the other thing that bugged me. here's the other thing that really disturbed me. What really disturbed me was that they were able to have this response on cue. I don't know the way it is in Italy. I don't know the way it is in Japan. I don't know the way it is in England or Kenya. But in this country, this whole idea of meeting your soulmate is supposed to be a huge, profoundly spiritual experience, akin to being born or dying. This thing of meeting your soulmate, oh my God, it's like a huge, big deal, right? It's supposed to be one of the pivotal experiences of our lives, correct? But the fact that they could have it on cue tells me that somewhere in the back of their mind they had rehearsed it, that this response that we all crave is nothing but a pre-rehearsed behavior that we have when we see something that we think is an appropriate cue. That it's not genuine, it's not spontaneous or in the moment, it's a pre-recorded, pre-rehearsed, ready-to-go program as soon as we find someone we think pushes the right button. And that really bothered me. That something that is sold to our society as the deepest experience is pre-recorded for your viewing pleasure. It's like TiVo. And that really bothered me. And it made me think, wait a minute, first of all, where in my life am I humping the rag doll? I'm serious. I use that cue. When I start to have an overreaction to something, I go, Ross, you're humping the rag doll. Stop it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you get my point, Jim? You look confused.
Yeah, a little bit. Confused.
Okay. In that hypnosis show, these guys were having a huge response to nothing. It was just a rag doll. You get it? And they were acting like it was their soulmate. So I thought, okay, where in my life am I humping the rag doll? Where am I having a huge response to something that's essentially nothing? Do you get it? For those of you who do speed seduction, do you hump the rag doll when a woman doesn't return your phone calls or cancels on you? Do you have a huge response to that little cue? You're humping the rag doll. Do you get it? Where in your life are you as stuck as these guys on stage, responding to your own hypnotic cues? That's the first thing that bothered me. And then I thought, wait a minute. This whole thing about being a soulmate, it's pre-recorded. How do I know that my responses are really mine or chosen instead of just being pre-recorded? By the way, if you ever want to fry a woman's circuits and make her totally ready and open for you, can I give you a key thing? Just attack this whole notion of soulmates. I remember being at a party talking to a girl and saying to her, do you believe in soulmates? She went, of course I do. I said, wow, I don't. It's a deeply unspiritual idea. She went, what? I said, it's a deeply unspiritual idea to believe in soulmates. I'm shocked that you would be that unspiritual. She said, what are you talking about? I said, well, part of being spiritual is to believe that on a deep level, we're all deeply connected anyway. We're all deeply one. Isn't that true? She went, of course. I said, well, if we're all deeply one, then how can you believe that there's only one person that you can enjoy that deepest connection with? If that's the case, then everyone else is excluded. And that's unspiritual. I said, furthermore, soulmates just feeds the ego. It's a very ego-based concept. She said, what do you mean? I said, well, if you believe someone else is your soulmate, they're your spirit, then they're your emotional, spiritual Messiah. They're your love Messiah. But that must mean that you are equally important to them. If you're their soulmate, then you're the most important person in their life. What does that do but feed your ego? She went, I said, rather than believe in such unspiritual... and, furthermore, you don't believe it's anything even chosen. It's a matter of fate. You didn't even choose it. Fate made it happen. So where's the spirituality in something you don't even choose? I said, I would rather believe that as an adult, enlightened, spiritual person, I can choose right now to have a deeply spiritual connection with anyone in this moment. How about you? She went, I totally fried her circuits, man. It's great to use on new age girls. So like, you're challenging them, okay? If you're really spiritual, the proof is you can connect in with me right now. You like it? It's pretty good, huh? I deserve it. Okay, so let's get back to the point of the story. The point of the story is, where in your lives are you stuck? Where in your lives are you having a whole... I'm willing to bet if there's an area in your life where you feel cursed, where you're just not getting the response, that's the area where you're stuck. That's the area where you're humping the rag doll, where you have a whole series of responses, choices, ideas, and emotions that are not freely chosen. They're just like those guys on stage. You see the cue, you have the response. You see the cue, you have the response. What I want to do now is to begin to step out of that, to show you how to have the magic of real choice. Can I always do this? No, but I'm getting a hell of a lot better. Does this make sense? Yeah. Do you get it? Okay, so I want to talk about unspelling, uncursing, ungluing, and undoing, and getting off of autopilot. So let's talk about this. How many people here, and again, I know there are people here from different cultures, so I want to work with this. But in Japan, you have fairy tales, don't you? In Japan, you have fairy tales, stories that are told to children. Do you know what fairy tales means? Like Little Red Riding Hood, Snow White. I'm sure you have your own in your own culture.
It's not something to do with legend.
Legends, yes, legends. You have legends? Okay, good. Okay, and are there in Japanese culture? And I don't know. I'm not playing with you here. Do they have things like sorcerers, magicians?
Yes.
Yes. And do the magicians do things like put curses on people, turn them into different forms, like turn a person into a wolf or a princess into a bear? Or, I don't know. I'm not familiar with your culture to that extent.
Well,
are there monsters in these stories that eat people or terrify children?
Yes.
Okay, so
from the Buddhism.
Comes from what?
Buddhism.
Buddhism. Okay. All right. So here's my point. I want to talk about the concept of a curse. The point I'm going to make here, the point I'm going to illustrate this morning, is that magic is not that different from common experience anyway in the way we use language. And that curses in fairy tales, the curses you see in fairy tales are no different than the language you use to limit yourself. All right? Here's the point I'm going to make this morning. That the curses that you see in fairy tales are no different structurally, process-wise, of the result than the language you use with yourself. And the language you use with yourself to limit yourself are no different from curses and fairy tales. Okay? Let's talk about this. A typical fairy tale. The witch comes along and turns the prince into a frog, correct? And that curse stays there forever unless something happens, correct? I think in the story, unless the frog gets a blowjob from a princess or something like that. Is that right? Something like that. It stays a frog, correct? Okay, so let's define a curse. I would say a curse is a construct, any construct or thought form that keeps a person trapped in a limiting identity or life condition. So a curse is any construct A curse is any construct that keeps a person trapped in a limiting identity, the prince gets turned to a frog, or life condition. And it's unbounded through time. And it's unbounded through time. And let me explain what I mean by that. The prince isn't turned into a frog just for 6 months. It's forever until someone comes along and breaks the curse. You get it? Okay, so if we define a curse as any construct that keeps a person trapped in a limiting identity or life circumstance, and it's unbounded through time, that's a curse. Do we get it? Are we following? Remember, it's unbounded through time. That's an important part of it. If the witch says to the prince, you are a frog for the next hour, well, that's not really a curse. It's more like a pain in the ass. Right? True? Are we all following? Okay. It's more like an experience. I like it. It's the frog walk. Yeah. All right? Now, let's get back to this. How many people here have an area of their life where they feel deeply stuck? Or they've had the experience of feeling deeply stuck in some area of their life? Okay, good. Now, I'm going to reveal to you the 3 great curses of life, and we're going to get through them. Okay? Here what I believe to be. By the way, what do I mean by construct? A construct is just a thought form. A thought form could include verbal language, like it could include a mental image, and it could include feelings. A construct can also be something you imagine, but we'll get to that. Okay. How many people think of this area of your life where you're deeply stuck? Are you thinking of it? Okay. Chances are it involves the following wording. I can't. That's one. I can't. Let's think about that. How many people here think of the area of your life where you're deeply stuck? How many of you have some thought form or construct that revolves around the words, I can't? Yeah, I can't. Okay. Okay, I can't. What's the next one? How about this one? It's too good to be true. Think of that area of your life where you're deeply stuck. Have you got it? Have you got the area of your life where you're deeply stuck? And think of the most incredibly good outcome that you could ever possibly get. Now, how many of you think this about that incredible outcome? It's too good to be true. Okay? That's another curse. By the way, when someone says it's too good to be true, what they're telling you is that the only thing they believe is real is limit and pain. Anytime someone says it's too good to be true, they're saying that the only thing that's real is limitation and pain. I can't. It's too good to be true. What?
Mine also is it's impossible.
Same thing. That's a bridge. That's a combination of the two. I can't. It's too good to be true. There's one more. Yes. I don't is different than I can't. Okay, that's different. Okay. I can't. It's too good to be true. And there's one more. I'm in such a good place. I'm forgetting the third curse. What is that third curse of life? Oh, I know what it is. How about this? I never, always. Think again of that area of your life where you have your curse. How many of you have statements involving I never or I always? Huh? You got, how many? I always fuck it up or I never get it right. Okay. Now, here's the cool thing. I want to talk to you about being bound and unbound in time. Okay? Being time specific and being non-time specific. This is very powerful in setting yourself free. Okay. Okay. I want you to think of the area of life where you're deeply stuck. And I want you to write down your I can't statement. Just write it down. You're not going to share it with the room. Just write it down. I can't. Now, when you say I can't, I want you to think about this. It's not only a report about your past. It's a statement about your present and a prediction about your future. What's the difference? Take that statement you just wrote down and now change it by writing up until now. Write down the words up until now. I have not yet. Just change it by saying up until now I have not yet been able to, and then write what you wrote before. Up until now I have not yet been able to. And then write down what you wrote before. So if you said, I can't make beautiful women drop to their knees and blow me, instead you'd write, up until now I have not yet been able to get beautiful women to drop to their knees and blow me. Okay? One is an accurate report on the past. The other is not just a report on the past, it's a prediction about your future. Because it's unbounded and unspecified by time. If you want to place a limitation on someone, take a failure and surround it and make it unbounded through time. Make it non-specified as to time. A big part of a curse is it's non-specified through time. Here's what I'm here to tell you. This area in your life where you've been deeply stuck, I'm willing to bet that you've had some good experiences that you're deleting. But even assuming that you're not deleting them, it's all true up until this moment. It doesn't mean it has to continue to be true. If that were the case, there'd be no airplanes. Who here has ever heard of the Wright brothers? Who has never heard of the Wright brothers? Okay. If the Wright brothers, when they were set out to make powered flight, looked into the past and went, nope, don't see it anywhere there in the past, therefore it can't be, you would have had to walk from Japan or from England or from Italy. Do you understand? Well, I don't see any powered flight to the moon anywhere there in the past, so therefore it can't be in the future. Where would technology be if people looked into the past and said, well, I don't see a single example of it ever happening, therefore it can't ever be? Huh? Nowhere. We'd be deeply stuck. Wouldn't we? Now, the thing is, you can look into your past. If you want to look into your past in this area of your life where you say you can't, watch that statement. You're cursing yourself. All you can accurately do is say, up until this moment, I have not yet, and I have tremendous feelings of frustration surrounding it. That's an accurate, true statement. Do you get it? Does that make sense? As far as I never or always, you can say, up until this moment, it is my perception. Write this down, right? Up until this moment, it is my perception that I have always or I have never. Because I'm willing to bet, even you guys who believe you're total failures with women, even you have had some success or you just didn't see it. Or you pushed it away. There's not a guy who's homely enough to have repulsed every woman in the world. At some point, some woman showed some flicker of interest. You just didn't see it. By the way, simply being aware is not enough to change, but it's the beginning. We're going to put you through some rituals and drills. I believe to change people, you need to do two things. You need to take apart the linguistic structure that keeps them stuck, but you also need to remove the energetic glue. There's a certain energetic glue in people who have been deeply thwarted that keeps them thwarted. So you need to undo the linguistics, but then you need to release the energy as well and change it. You see, Now look at that statement. When you rewrite it, up until now, it is my perception, I never, or always. And read it, look at the difference in how you feel. Does it change a little bit, your sense of perception of the problem? Does it? People must use language to structure their perception of reality and to structure their consciousness. That's how language works. Language is magic. Bandler and Grinder were right when they wrote The Structure of Magic, but they wrote it in such an unreadable style. I have not gotten through The Structure of Magic. I've been doing NLP since 1987, and I have not been able to get through The Structure of Magic. I always wind up putting the book back down. It is virtually unreadable, and Richard himself will tell you that. Whether he did on purpose or they just didn't know how to present to the public at that point, I find the book unreadable. Okay. So now, look at your statements. Notice how you feel different when you rewrite them like that. Does it begin to get some sense of an opening? Yes, like a little bit of a crack? Who did not experience even the slightest little bit of shift in their perception when they changed that? Okay, now, let's look at this last one. It's too good to be true. Let's look at this statement. It's too good to be true. You envision some outcome that you've never had before, and you say, it's too good to be true. In order to tell it's too good to be true, where do you need to look?
Where you deserve.
No. We're going to get to this. We're real close. You brought up a good point. This concept of deservingness, it's bullshit. It doesn't exist. There's only what you perceive to be familiar and unfamiliar. I'm about to reveal a big, powerful concept here. It's going to fry some brains. The synapses are going to fry. But please, put your pens down. You'll have plenty of time to write. I want you to participate in the discovery. I'll give you all the time in the world to write, I promise you. I want you to look at this. It's too good to be true. How many here have an area of their life where they're deeply stuck? Okay? I want you to envision the opposite of that. I want you to envision having all the success you could possibly have. And now, double it. Make it beyond that. Now, how do you know it's too good to be true? The only way you can know is by looking into your past and seeing what you've gotten in the past, correct? Is that true? Yes. For example, if I went to a Papua New Guinea tribesman who lives deep in the heartland of New Guinea, who's still using Stone Age tools, and I told him I could get him from one end of the island to the other in 20 minutes, he would say it's impossible. It's too good to be true, right? Based on what? Based on what does he say that? Based on his past experience. So when you say to yourself, it's too good to be true, what do you reinvest in your belief in? Your limits, your past. Does that make sense? So the only way you can say it's too good to be true is by looking into your past and reaffirming your limit and reaffirming your pain. Does that make sense? Now, I want to get to one of the... you didn't follow that? You. Yeah, you. You furred your brow. Now look, I'm here to tell you, when people say the word deserve, like if you say, I don't deserve it, how do you know? As you're knowing, think of something you believe you don't deserve. As you're thinking, how do you know it? How are you knowing it? You're looking into your past and comparing it to what you've already had. Is that true? Jim, you look totally confused.
Can't really think of anything.
Don't deserve? Okay. Good. All right. Okay. All right. Well, here. Look. Here's the thing. I know we're stretching, but hold on here. Stay with me and breathe with me. Let's say you make $15,000 a year, and I offer you a job paying you $15,500 a year. For most people, do you think it'd be easy for them to accept that difference in the change in their circumstances? It wouldn't really throw them, right? very few people would go, well, I don't know if I deserve that much more money, right? True? You follow me? I need verbal feedback, yes or no? Okay. You make $15,000 a year, I offer you $25,000 a year. Oh, now it's starting to get a little bit scary, but not that much. How about I offer you $300,000 a year? Okay. Here's the thing. This concept of deservingness, it's bullshit. What it's really all about is what is familiar. Magic is the act of embracing that which currently is unfamiliar. Magic is, one definition of magic is the act of embracing that which is currently unfamiliar. Embracing the unfamiliar. Because if it's familiar to you, guess what? It means what you're programmed to do. You're humping the rag doll. You're just responding to the cues. Does this make sense? Does it? Embracing the unfamiliar. So with magic, what we do is we use symbology, we use energy, we use altered state, we use our will to take something that currently is unfamiliar and we make it familiar to the universe. Do you understand? With magic, we take a set of circumstances or life conditions or what we want that's currently unfamiliar, and by using our will, our imagination, our focus, and our energy, we make it familiar to the universe. So it is offered up to us. Does that make sense? Magic is the process of the act where we take our will, our energy, our imagination, our focus, our thought forms, our symbology, and we take what's a circumstance or a condition that's currently unfamiliar, like you being with the love of your life and having $100 billion, and we make it familiar to the universe such that it brings it to us. Human beings shy away from what's unfamiliar. Isn't that true? You know what motivates people more than pain or pleasure? What's familiar. People move towards what's familiar. Is that true? That's what speed seduction is all about. It's about taking something that's normally unfamiliar to a woman in terms of it being attractive and making it familiar to her to be attractive. So she jumps on you instead of Johnny Studmuffin. Does that make sense? Magic is a way of conditioning the universe to be familiar with our desires such that it offers it to us. Magic is a way of conditioning the universe to be familiar with our desires. But in so doing, you also open yourself to the universe conditioning you. So you have to choose. Okay? What if the universe were so familiar with your desire that it went, okay, it's natural and normal for you to have it, so here it is. What if how you needed to be different in your own thoughts and responses and reactions became so conditioned that it was familiar, and so you did it naturally? See, if you're having a problem in an area in your life where you're deeply stuck, it's because all those responses and conditions and emotions, they're not chosen and they're not serving you. So you need to learn to get off autopilot. To get off of autopilot and step into a place of choice where you go, wait a minute, I can see what's going on here. I don't need to do that. Does that make sense? Does it? Okay. Here's the thing. One of the things that really triggered my thinking about this whole thing, I was thinking about what keeps people stuck. Why is it that I can have an area where I teach a profound technology, and speed seduction is a very powerful set of technology and tools, and yet some people are still deeply stuck and can't get out. Right? Is that all right? What's going on here? What is it that keeps people deeply stuck? I really started to think about that. I thought, well, is it because certain things happened in their past and now that's the way they are? I thought, is that what really keeps people stuck? Here's what I'm here to tell you guys. Your chronology, your history on a subject is not what's been keeping you stuck there. I'm going to say it again. Your history on a subject is not what's been keeping you stuck. It's not that you've always been that way that's keeping you stuck. Does that make sense? It may feel that way to you. It's just that you keep on doing the things that have created your history. It's not, I'm going to say that again. It's not your history on a subject that keeps you stuck. It's just that you keep on doing the things, having the responses, generating the feelings that created the history. This is worth writing down on a little card and keeping it on, taping it to your mirror. It's not your history on a subject that's keeping you stuck. It's continuing to do the things that created the history. I once said to a guy who's having trouble with women, I said, how do you know that you've never had success with women? He said, because I listen to my history. I said, well, when you're listening to your history, you're not paying attention to her story, and that's why you're fucking up with women. And he went, oh. I said, that'll be $5,000. It's not, huh? Say what?
You're about to say it. It's not your history.
It's not your history on a subject that's keeping you stuck. It's continuing to do the things that created the history. So it's not the chronology of events that are keeping you stuck. The events are a piece of it. So you have the events, what you did and what happened. You have the emotions that are glued to it, the emotions and energy glued to it. I can prove to you it's not just a series of events, okay? You guys think it's that you have this whole history of events that happen that are keeping you stuck. I'm going to prove to you in a minute that's not true, right? It's events, what you did, what happened. It's the emotions and the energy, but it's also the beliefs, and the meaning, and the decisions you attach to it. It's the intersection of these three things that's keeping you stuck. Not the events themselves. This is going to become more and more clear. I'm going to explain this to you. Okay, so a lot of you have the belief that the reason you're stuck in this area of your life is because you've always been bad at it, or you've always sucked at it, or it's always happened that way. Who believes that? Be honest with me. Come on. Okay? Is that correct? So you believe the reason why you're still stuck to this day is that you've always sucked at it. You've always had bad luck. You've always had failure. It's because of the events. Correct? Am I right? I need verbal feedback. A loud yes.
Yes.
Who believes that? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to prove to you that's not true. So your postulate, your premise is that if you have an area of your life We've had failure after failure after failure after failure after failure after failure. Then you're going to be stuck. Is that correct? Is that right? Those of you who agree, say yes. Yes. I need loud verbal feedback. Yes? Yes. Okay. I'm going to prove to you that's not true. Here comes the proof. Oh, we're out of paper. Sorry, I can't prove it. Sorry. Oh, well. I can do it right on here. That's it. All right, I'll do it right on here. Just see what happens if you don't think symbols have power to instantly change people's states and behavior. You want to know another really powerful symbol? It's as powerful as the swastika, even more so. You ready? Is that a powerful symbol? It doesn't really have any meaning. It's just two lines and an S. If you did it like this, it wouldn't mean anything. Right? It wouldn't. Or if you did it like this, it wouldn't mean anything. It's a symbol that organizes massive behavior every day. So symbology, one of the things we're going to be teaching you is forming your own symbols to open doorways so that this stuff doesn't matter anymore. Does this make sense?